What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing off all the weapon perks in Destiny 2 that are able to stun champions. In Lightfall, Bungie made it so that subclass verbs can now stun champions, so things like Jolt, Slow, Shatter, Ignitions, etc. can now all stun different types of champions. So in today's video, I'm going to put that into practice so that you can run endgame content with a wide variety of weapons that are capable of getting the job done. I already made videos showing off how to stun champions with every exotic and every ability in the game, so if you haven't seen those, be sure to check them out. And if you are unfamiliar with champions in general, then Datto just put out a great guide on how exactly to deal with champions. As someone who's stunned literally tens of thousands of champs, I sometimes forget that there was a time when I had no idea what I was doing with champions either. But armed with the knowledge of those 3 videos I recommended and the information from this video, you'll be killing champions with ease. Now let's jump into it. I'm first going to start off with the most versatile of all weapon perks in the game, and that is Chill Clip. Chill Clip states direct hits with the top half of the magazine cause a detonation that slows nearby targets. So the slow applied from one shot is about 50 stacks. That slow effect can be used to stun an overload champion. 2 shots will freeze a target, which can stun an unstoppable champion when you shatter the freeze. And lastly, the freeze can also keep a barrier champion from shielding. This takes some finesse and understanding of how barrier champs works, but you can literally do an entire Nightfall with just the Chill Clip perk and no other anti-champion weapon if you know what you are doing. This is by far the most versatile weapon perk for dealing with champions. As of the making of this video, it can roll on 9 weapons in the game, and you can see those weapons on screen. Personally, I've been waiting for a kinetic slot glaive for so long, I would love to get a stasis one with Chill Clip, as that shit would be OP. But for now, the Riptide Fusion Rifle is by far my favorite to use, as it can apply slow stacks faster than pretty much every weapon on this list. I made a video going a little more in depth on this perk in particular if you are interested. Next, we'll go to the next best weapon perk in my opinion, and that is Volt Shot. Reloading this weapon after defeating a target overcharges this weapon for a short period of time, causing it to jolt on its next hit. Now, what makes it so great is Jolt lasts a pretty long time. In my testing, I found you can re-stun a Legend Overload champion off of just one Volt Shot. However, the cooldown after a stun on a Master Overload is a little longer, which means you will not be able to get the re-stun off the Volt Shot. However, the Jolt being on the target while it isn't stunned will keep it from regenerating its health, so it's still very strong against overloads. Another thing I found while testing is it does seem to be somewhat inconsistent for stunning overload champions. I'm not sure if this is due to the amount of damage the weapon applying the Volt Shot deals, because weapons like the Philotactic Spiral Pulse Rifle and the Brigand's Lost Sidearm were not able to stun an overload Minotaur consistently, despite the Volt Shot being applied to them. However, the stun was extremely consistent with special weapons, so I'm not totally sure what is going on there. Overload champions are definitely the toughest ones to deal with, so I still like Volt Shot because it prevents health regeneration while jolted. But just beware that it may not always get the stun depending on what weapon you are doing the stunning with. Next, we have another awesome weapon perk in Cold Steel. This says Powered Sword hits slow targets. In my testing, I found these can be on heavy or light attacks, and what is great is you can apply slow first and then stack slow to freeze a target, meaning this can be used against unstops and overloads. It could also technically prevent a barrier champ from shielding, but you would need really good timing. So while this perk is amazing, it currently only drops on the Zephyr Sword, which is a sword you can only get from the Dawning Christmas event. But if you have one, this perk is great for aggressive players. And that brings us to the final 2 weapon perks that can stun champions, which are Incandescent and Headstone. While both of these perks can technically stun an unstoppable, it is highly unlikely to work. Incandescent will need a bunch of enemies around the champion so you can mow them down and spread enough scorch to ignite the champ, and Headstone requires a crit kill on an enemy right next to an unstoppable. Are these situations impossible? No, but are they extremely unlikely and highly unreliable? Yes. I do not recommend relying on them to stun an unstoppable as they are too situationally dependent. I also want to mention disorienting grenades. These grenades disorient enemies. You may have thought they work like suppression or blind. Heck, they used to be called blinding grenades. However, Bungie changed this in Lightfall and they do not have any type of 3.0 verb interaction. They don't work to stun any champions. So I figured I'd throw that in the video in case some of you are curious. But that is going to do it for the list of weapon perks that can stun champions. I hope this video and my little mini series on how to stun champions helped you. There are now a ton of unique and fun ways of dealing with champions, allowing you to play in a variety of different ways. I honestly really love these changes. Anyways, if this video was informative, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And if you made it this far in the video, then you're awesome. Happy champion stunning, and take care.